don't know how it happened. I have no idea what I'm doing tomorrow. Little God, I don't know. I don't know till the morning.
We are live now.
Oh, live? Okay. There used to be a thing over there.
Yes.
I'd like to call to order the regular school board meeting for Community Consolidated School District 168 to order on September 26, 2022 at 7:01 p.m. Madam Secretary, please call the roll. Derek, absent with no Brown. Not sure. Joe Young. Yes. Justin Wayne. Derek is present. Davenport. Or John. Present. If you could, please stand for the pledge. Oh, no. We got this stuff simple. We got first.
Oh, right, what are we doing? Yes, we're the first.
Who took the first share it is?
I was like, I know I stopped and did. We done got lost in the month.
This is going to just be rolling. Okay, here you go.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I feel so honored to be the one reading this particular one. He's my actor and singer and all of the above. So this young person would like to read about. The following student will recite the pledge. His name is Logan Davenport. Logan is an 8th grader at Rickover Junior High School. Logan is an honor student who participates in Algebra 1 program at Blue Trail. He currently has an A. Logan is a pleasant student who can be observed in the hallways, encouraging his peers to make good decisions. Logan is an ideal student who models excellence on a day-to-day basis. And I would like to add, he also is the district baby. He's been the district baby now for 13 years, but he's not a baby anymore. Logan, would you please like to come up?
Can everyone please stand? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Wait one moment. So tonight, thank you very much for coming. Thank you for doing the pledge for us. And we'd like to present you with a certificate of appreciation. This certificate is awarded to Logan Davenport for his participation of the Pledge of Allegiance before the Community Consolidated School District 168 School Board meeting. Thank you so very much. And then if you don't mind, it's okay with you, we'd like to take a picture with you as your family.
If you have any family members, come take a picture.
Oh, no, Billy, no, we got your principal, your Layla, Rickover alumni, come on back over. Your family with the administration, yeah. I'll go back here. What you gonna do with your hair? Oh, that was terrible. Thank you. Thank you.
He'll come get you guys.
We now move to public comment. Please stand and state your name for the record. You will be recorded 3 minutes. If we have a response, one will be provided. If not, we will take your information and get back to you. At this time, our audience for agenda items only.
I present Miss Diana Perchie. Ms. Perchie is returning to support our school district as a part-time school psychologist. She was with us last year as well, and we reached out to her to get her support so that we could execute the care of our students with special needs. And so she will be joining us again this year in that role as a part-time school psychologist. She's not here this evening, but we wanted to recognize her. Also not here this evening, but we have a brand new family member, Miss Elaine Ruffle. Ms. Ruffle will be a teacher assistant at our Rickover campus. She brings with her paraprofessional experience for co-taught and self-contained content-based elective classes. She's currently completing her master's to obtain a master's in teaching in the area of special education. She has worked at the high school level also. She's not here this evening because she's in her graduate class. And Dr. Lee got the hell to say Solomon McDonald Interim Human Resources Coordinator.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else for agenda items only? I'd like to call the board again to the public hearing.
And here, I think some of the language was from the music festival. So we're just calling to order, and we've already done the pledge.
I'd like to call to order the public hearing, for the 2023, budget. At this time, we will turn it over to our CSDO. Madam Secretary, call the roll. Danforth?
Yes.
Jackson? Yes. Bill Richards? Yes.
But
But yeah, this is your public hearing.
Right, you just said you're president for the hearing.
Here is President Jones. Oh, yes. Okay, at this time, we turn it over to our CSDO, Ms. Charlene Williams.
Good evening, everyone, to the board. It's that
Hold
time.
on, Charlie.
Okay.
Make sure we're following all the procedures.
Okay.
You have to ask.
I thought that was the error, so I just don't know that. Alright, public comment for agenda items only, which would be regarding the, budget. So please stand, state your name for the record, you will be awarded 3 minutes if we have any response, and will be provided, if not, we will take your information and get back to you. Anybody? Okay, hearing none, I turn it over to our CSDO, Ms. Charlene Williams.
Once again, good evening. And, I think I do this every year in the budget time. So the budget presentation for FY 2022 and FY 2023. I'll just do this quickly. It's just to give the purpose of why we even have to do a budget hearing each year. It meets the requirements of the Illinois school code. It provides the district with spending plan and taxing authority. If you don't meet the guidelines for the Illinois school code by having this budget hearing, then it does, we do not have the authority to do the tax levy, which we do in December. So, this is covered. We have gone through the public notice requirement. The board approved the teacher budget in the last board meeting last month. It was published in the Conference newspaper for the required 30 days prior to tonight's public hearing, which would lead to the adoption. And I always feel that the board must approve the budget by September 30th of each calendar year. In the budget filing requirements, it's after following the board's approval, then the budget has to be filed with the Cook County Clerk's Office and the Illinois State Board of Education by October 30th of this year. And it's also an official form is provided to the Illinois State Board of Education. And it's required after the budget has been finalized. It's required to be posted on the district website. So now we'll look at the budget, the funding sources, and the budget projections for the next year. I'll look at the current year, FY 23, and then I'll look at some comparisons between FY 22 and FY 23. This is just a breakdown to see how the funding. So with the Illinois State Code, there are certain parameters that we have to follow. One is that all funds in the state of Illinois follow this particular scheme with those particular numbers. And as you can see here, 10 is educational, 20 O&M, 40 transportation, and 70 working cash. Those buckets of money have to be invested in a particular way for each one of the funds. Those are what we call the operating funds, and then the other funds, the debt service, IMRF is the retirement fund, private Medicare, capital projects, toward immunity, and life safety are the non-operating funds. Okay, and again, this is just control of the operating funds on one side, which we use and look at more during the year. The other ones have certain guidelines or specifics that are attached to each. For instance, the tort immunity fund requires a risk management plan. We don't really use that one in this district any longer because the regulations changed and it allows us to have tort immunity in our educational fund. It's less problematic to do it that way, and we have the authority to do that, so we really use the tort immunity fund. Fire prevention and life safety is another. It has certain parameters. We have to have a 10-year life safety survey that's done by the architect, has to be approved by the state, and once that's done, then we can use funds out of the fire prevention and life safety survey fund. Capital projects is another. Of course, the retirement fund and Social Security, those have specific parameters to them. And our bond and interest fund, which in another year, I think we have one more year, and we will start to, for payments on the bonds that were done in 2017. So now for fund balances, which we look at, it's actually, the fund balances are the revenues that are brought in or receipts that we receive minus any expenditures that are happening during the year. So, what the revenue sources? The revenue sources come in three categories: local, state, and federal. Here for us, our local revenue is about 15% of our total fund balance now. That's really kind of decreasing overall percentage. That number used to range someplace between 20 to 22 to 23% each year. And I'll give more reason as we go through how that percentage has changed. But the local revenue funds include the property taxes, corporate personal property taxes, investment interest, and any admission fees or student fees for the district. And really, that's an annual number as part of our local revenue. For the state revenue, the evidence-based funding, which used to be called something else I can't think of right now. But we also have our after-school programs grant that we just got. Last year was the first one, and it's just opened up again this year. The school lunch breakfast program, and by the way, the after-school programs grant came at a good time in this last year because it also helped to fund mostly our back-to-school batch. For the transportation reimbursements, and then we have a career grant, which is a very small amount, usually less than $2,000 per year. 37% of our revenue comes from federal revenue. ESSA, which are the title grants, Title I, Title II, and Title IV, what we get now. ESSER 2, or ESSER 2, which is the Elementary and Secondary Emergency Relief Grant, we got in 2021, and for fiscal year 2021, but we also carried over for 2 more years. And then ARP is the recovery plan, which we commonly call ESSER 3, which is we got last year, and last fiscal year. We have Medicaid reimbursements, the special ed, IDEA grant, and the National Student Loans Program, all make up our federal revenue, 37%. And that number, by the way, the federal revenue number has really increased. That used to be someplace between 12 and 15%. And the reason that it's markedly increased is because of the ESSER 2 and ESSER 3. Again, a chart is showing that the 48% of the revenue for the district is now through the state funding, 37% we receive through federal funding, and 15% through our local funding. And that would be for this year too. And again, these are the numbers for each, broken down by each one of the funds: educational, operations and maintenance, transportation, some out of IMRF and Social Security, and then you see very small amounts in each one of the other funds. And on the state side, the largest amount really through our evidence-based funding that's provided to the state. Actually, it's about 14.6 million, and then about 500,000 is the reimbursement for transportation. And on the federal side, most of the funding is through the educational fund, 6.4 million, and the capital projects at 5 million. And that 5 million is really set aside for the early childhood sector. Then we have expenditures. So in the state budget, the Illinois School Code provides that not only do you break down the funding and the expenditures by the funds, then the next category we break them down by function, and then after this one we will also look at options. But the function says, how are you going to use money? In which category will you be expending your funds? And This is, again, state guidelines. Instructional is on a 1,000 category, instructional support is in 2,000 category, community services, 3,000 category, and special out of district is 4,000 category. And special out of district generally is for out of district tuition. Okay. This field here again gives the function, and it shows that the blue part is instruction. About 44% of all of our expenditures will be for instruction. 49% will be for support services. Payments to other districts will be 5%. I mentioned that's mostly for out of district special ed tuition. And then we have community services at about 2%. On the right-hand side, it just gives you the actual costs that are predicted for this school year. And again, instruction and support services are the majority of the total. So next we'll look at the objects, and it breaks it down a little bit further of how expenditures will occur during the school year. We have category salaries are in 100, benefits 200, and these are the high-level numbers. Sometimes there can be subcategories underneath each one of those. Purchase services, 300 categories, and so forth. Supplies, capital outlay, and other objects. A little pictorial of the way the budget is set for this year for expenditures. Salaries is the largest category, which is about 13.1 million. We have benefits at about 2.6 million. Another category, the gray area is purchase services, which is about 8 million. Supplies and materials at about 2 million, and we have the capital outlay, which is the building and construction capital projects at 6 million. And the last category is the other objects at 1.6, and again, other objects here is the majority of it. The greater portion is for out of district tuition. On this chart here is a comparison between what's projected for this school year and what was actually spent for last school year. So the first column is for the projections for this school year, and the second column would be what was actually expended for last school year. The last column gives a variance between the two school years, the two fiscal years. And it breaks it down by the objects. The object name, salary. So you see there's a variance. It's predicted that we will spend about $589,000 more than we did last school year. Benefits a little bit less than last school year. Purchase services up by 1.4 million. Supplies and materials up by 1.1 million. Capital outlay is up by about 4.6 million. And then in the other objects category, indeed, it's projected to decrease, but this is always kind of a floating number, and that number can change. Probably one of the numbers that can change the most during the school year. And that one right now is predicted at about $226,000 less than the last school year. Non-capitalized equipment, that can vary, and that's just, it has feelings of if we expend more than $500 for a particular item, up to $2,500, the state code says that should be a non-capitalized equipment area as opposed to a capitalized equipment. So that kind of varies from year to year. And the accommodation benefits, which would be anything that's paid out for an employee who is entering the district. Okay, so I think if you look at it, you can see that salaries are up, but the benefits are a little bit more. I've looked at it a couple times to try to figure it out. And I think last year what happened was we did some benefits because one of the contracts that carries a great majority of the benefits, um, actually closed in the next year. So some of the benefits that were to be paid in FY '21 were actually paid in FY '22. And I think that's why that number was more last year than predicted for this year. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. I want to just kind of break down, so I know there was some inquiry about purchase services. In that category, it has such a range, so I just pulled them all out to try and show exactly what the purchase services category encompasses. So again, on the first column is the last school year's actuals, and then in the last column, it's this school year's projected amounts. Um, but based on what has been approved already or will be approved in grants, because most of all these numbers that's on the projected side is based on what has been allocated in the grants or for salaries that we know we will have or contracted substitutes based on those which are on the books right now. So we can see that in the purchase services category, these are all of, and these are not all of them, but these are the ones that I thought had the greatest weight to show you how purchase services are determined. So one of the largest categories in here is the contracted substitutes. There will be substitute teachers, substitute custodians, any position that's a substitute, whether it's administration or not, it's always as a contracted substitute. So any interims would be in this category. Consultants would be those where they're a consultant who come in for professional development, either for the staff, for the students, for administrators even. So that would all be in that category. And as you can see, last year, the actual amount expended was 1.8 million. This year is projected at 3.8 million. Student transportation is another. Student transportation contract, of course, increase, and with that also can be increase in budget. Food services was a little bit higher last year, and is predicted to be just slightly more this year. And again, that one can really change too, because that not only includes food service for students, but also food service for any events that are held in this year. So that includes community, yeah, community, that one. And that history going on, any event. So all food services included in this category. We also have like,
The 1.8 to 3.8, what's the bulk of that jump for the consultant? Mostly staff.
It is mostly due to moving what would ordinarily be in salaries. So any position that would ordinarily be in the salary category.
So because we have the teacher shortage and we're providing substitutes now, we're looking at an additional 2 million coming under that category instead of
salaries being a higher category.
Okay.
And one of the reasons too, for benefits being a little bit more than the ordinary would be.
Okay.
And in addition to that, there are other consulting services that are in that are written into grants this year.
Okay.
Because again, we have the ESSER, ESSER 2, ESSER 3, and there are consulting services that are included within those ESSER grants. So that, and again, it could be for special ed, consulting services, it could be for, any other number, curriculum consulting.
Okay.
I'll add to that, 20% of our FS3 has to be spent on learning loss. And so embedded within that 20%, there will be consulting embedded in that too. So, so that figure doesn't represent, it doesn't represent just substitute teachers and custodians. It represents people who are written into grants that we're required to do.
I think I can see it. Oh, and there's professional development is another, professional development. There's a slight difference, and I just wanted to explain. Because when I look at professional development, that could also be for consultants, could be for professional development. But in the coding, when I said 300, the high level 300 is for purchase services. Well, in the subcategories, consultants are 310, but professional development, so when I look at professional development here, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so in that fifth line, that's 458,000. That professional development is mostly for, travel, I would say, for, those who are going to conferences and seminars and things like that. So a little bit different than professional development, coding for consultants. Okay. And then right underneath that is travel. Last year, in the year before, the travel was minimal, 47,000. That's when I say minimal compared to prior years. This 100,000 is more in the range of what is normally spent for travel. And of course, there were several conferences and seminars that were done either virtually or not at all. And those are coming back. So that category is increased. For contracted agreements,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The professional development, you just stated that travel wasn't there, and then we have a section of travel. So, are there two different types of travel?
yeah, travel, professional development is for registration. So registration, and then underneath that is also professional development. For travel is the hotels, the flights, everything else falls under travel for professional development.
Okay, but I said travel on professional development, didn't have travel.
Okay. And travel also can be, travel also includes local travel too. So local travel, traveling to ISC4 or conferences that's in the local area.
No, that's it.
Okay. And then, contracted agreements is kind of a wide category too, but that would include, like contracted agreements for our communication services, which is different from communication services that provide. Some of these, it all depends on how they're coded. So I included these according to the way they are coded according to the Illinois Program Calendar. So contract agreements would include attorney fees, auditing fees. No, auditing I separated out, so that's mostly, attorney fees and some other, architect fees and things like that would be on the contract agreement. Legal services is separate. It actually increased for the upcoming years. And that's just based on, that's a real projection. That's projection, yeah. You never know. I mean, I'm projecting 450 based on historical data. And security service is mainly for your builder. Auditing fees are projected to decrease slightly this year, and then communication services are predicted to go up a little bit. And that's basically due to some of the overall contracts we have provided, like the marquees that would be in communication services, and into that choice. Again, of control of the objects, the orange represents the projections and the brown represents the actuals. And you can see probably the biggest category is being purchase services, supplies, actuals last year were a lot less. Capital outlay last year was a lot less. And for salaries, a little bit less.
Yeah, question on this. So I was gonna ask, the capital outlay, it went up 4 million, is that because of the new building that we're doing? And the security services went up too.
Yeah.
Is it because they're at the middle and then, I mean, why did they go up so much?
Because we didn't have security services, I think, for the full year last year.
Right, that, it came in the middle.
It came in the middle.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. And now we get to the overall fund balance. First column is actual for last year. The next three columns are projected revenue, expenditures, and then it shows the deficit in each one of the funds. And then the last column is what's estimated for the fund balance at the end of the year. So if we go down to the bottom, all the way down to the total, I'll just use the total figures. Last year, the actual fund balance, the end of the year was 14.471, about 472 million. This projected revenues this year at 31.6 million. The expenditures are projected at 34 mil, right over 34 million, with a deficit of 2.4 million at the end of the year, which means that if that holds true, our estimated fund balance at the end of this school year, so in June 30th of 2023, the fund balance would be a little bit over 12 million. Yeah. There are always variations, and we always hope for the better. And I know Dr. Meek is going to talk about a preschool or construction grant that would possibly help to bring this number down, and any other grants that we can get during the year, special ed grants, whatever. So this is a projection. It could be real close to that. Could be worse, but I don't see it being worse. I see it being probably a little bit better than 2.4 million. Okay? But if you go to the next slide, I wanted to show, this is the same chart. I just pulled it from last year, right? And this is 21 to 22. And I said, okay, from right now where it stands, it looks like we're going to be at 707,000 as a deficit at the end of the school year. Well, on the next slide, I'll show you how it really came out. So the last column pulls that same number. The projected variance was projected at $707,000. The column before that gives you what it actually came in at. It actually came in at a negative $421,000. Okay. But I can tell you that 707 was really kind of right on the mark, because there were some expenditures that did not get paid in the fiscal year 2022. So because we are cash accounting basis, so this is the script, we can't book it. That's accounting term. It can't be assessed, I guess you would say, until it actually happens. And so those expenses we did not pay in the last 2 years. We actually paid them in July. If that had not happened, it would have been right on the mark at $707,000. So we came in a little bit better. And I know that's what we'll be working on this year to come in better than that $2.4 million thing. And then the last slide again is a picture. But the goal on there, if you see the little gold bar, is showing what was the variance, what it was projected, and the gray is that's what we actually ended up. So you can see on the top, you just look at the top column, we're showing that the variance was greater than the goal, but it actually came in a little bit better domestically. Okay, so again, the full budget summary projected at $31.6 million right now in revenues that we know should be coming into the district, and expenditures at $34 million, with a deficit of about $2.4 million. I think that's what
And so, I know we, lost our financial recognition. Where will this put us with that? If we come in at this 2 million.
And we would, at the most, we would stay at the same financial, status that we have. That's at the most. We do better, if it comes in worse than that 2.4 million, which I'm not projecting, then that could cause us to work in, a worse step.
So I do want to add something which is, employees a little too, which is that we did submit for this grant. It's due October 12th, and we asked for roughly $6 million. So even if we were to get 3 million of the 6, that would help offset, because then we would have that as a revenue. At the end of the day, though, it was worst cases that you don't get it, then we'll have to go back in and look at our plans for construction in terms of what that cost is. So right now that's there, thinking we have a shovel-ready project that we should be approved at least at some level. The other thing too, it's not reflected here, but the board should know is that Senator Sims' office has given us a grant for $200,000 for the capital project also. So that will be within the next 6 to 9 years, a process to get it, but it will also come in during this fiscal year too. So I know William spoke to the fact that we all know we go out and look for money.
Yeah.
So when we come to June 30th, it won't look like this. It's just a matter of us finding the money to ensure that this is not, it's just that we have to prepare it now, and it has to be submitted now based on what we're planning.
And we hope to stay within the guides of those projected numbers. So that's the other thing that we try to make sure that we get into, doesn't change the situation to something that we work with.
And if you all remember in the summer when Dr. Grossman was here, and he was giving updates, and one of the things that he did speak to was the moving from recognition to the next level status, that he also said that we based on our intended revenues and expenditures, he also was in concurrence with us not moving down as long as we can stay the course. So we're working our way just to get back to the recognition status.
Any other questions for CSL? From the board, any questions? No? Okay.
And you have this PowerPoint in your documents too.
Are there any questions or comments from any special group or audience that would like to, pose questions to the CSDL? No? Okay. Hearing none, thank you, Ms. Williams. I make a motion to adjourn the public hearing for the budget. Second. I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Madam Secretary, call it. Rose. Brown. Yes. Joe. Yes. Justin Williams. Yes. Yes. Davenport. Yes. Brown. Yes. Yes.
So all you need to do is to reconvene. Yes.
All right, so I'd like to reconvene the regular board meeting. Session. On the motion in a second, any questions? Madam Secretary, call the roll. Joe. Jesse Williams. Yes. Davenport. Yes. Brown. Yes. Jones. Yes.
No, you don't.
That's okay. It does, that's like it was on here 20 times.
Well, because you called the meeting in order to do a couple of times, then did the hearing kind of embedded in there, so you're okay.
All right. Okay, consent agenda items, are there any that need to be removed and voted on separately? Hearing none, can I get a?
That was 22nd.
Can I get a motion for the consent agenda?
I'd like to make a recommendation for the board, to approve on the consent agenda items 4.01 all the way down to 4.12.
Motion and second, any questions? Hearing none, I'm secretary, call the roll.
You all have wait.
Yes, it's 1 through 12.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Jones? Yes. Presentation, this over our grand new principal. Yay! Spotlight. Okay.
I am Dr. Kimbrough, the Kimbrough, the new principal is over, and so we're going to talk to you all about, the end of the school year, and kind of let you guys know where we currently are, and, so it's become a destination school, so I'm thinking it's working, and it's over, that's exactly it. Okay, so there are 4 categories that we focus on this school year: curriculum and instruction, CCIS and discipline, culture and community involvement. Everything that we do will fall under one of these 4 different topics. So we're trying to be very intentional, make sure that everything is connected, intertwined, it's easier for us to be able to articulate this to our staff and our students that we're able to make those connections. So Ms. Caldwell is going to talk to you all about curriculum and instruction. I'm going to be excited to want to speak briefly about PBIS and discipline, and then I'll close it up with culture, climate, and community development.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about curriculum instruction here at Rickover Junior High. We offer the basic courses: English, Math, Science, Social Studies, our specials, PE, Health, Art, and Music. Each of these courses is 41 minutes with the exception of English, which is another block for 82 minutes. We also offer a 30-minute block in the morning, immediately after breakfast, and this is what we call our intervention block. So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we offer academic intervention, and then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, SEL, which is social and emotional learning. Right now, we are using CELIS, and IXL is one of our intervention programs, or as the intervention program for the intervention block. We're also going to start implementing lessons specifically targeted towards some of the standards that need to be addressed as relates to our IAR data and NWEA data. So that will start in October. We'll add that to our list. After school tutoring starts next week on October 4th, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of every week. We plan to designate 2 days each week for math and reading skills. And then on Wednesday, we will offer homework support. Okay. I'm very proud to say that we were able to get a lot of our curriculum maps uploaded to the digital portal last month. Some of our teachers did some of the work over the summer. They updated what we currently use and added in the standards, the skills. This is going to benefit us because it will allow our teachers to now have a GPS for the school year.
you know where you are, know where you're going. If you hire new teachers, they can come right in and pick up where everyone else is in the curriculum. And it also allows the process to be seamless for our, we have a lot of permanent subs right now, permanent subs to get on track with us as well. So we're really glad to offer this, this school year to make sure that the process is seamless. As it relates to instruction, we have pictures of work that's been done in the classroom on these slides. So this is the Carlo class of social studies for sixth graders. So as it relates to instruction, our teachers are submitting lesson plans to let us know how they're implementing the content in their classrooms week to week. And so they are providing us with standards and objectives. The objectives let us know what students will learn for that school day. The standards allow us to understand or see how they are aligned with the state requirements for students at their grade levels. They also share with us the activities and the assessment. So teachers are assessing whether or not students are actually meeting the standards or the objectives at the end of each day. So this is something that that our teachers are doing every week. We are also implementing professional learning communities. So that's what we call PLCs. The PLCs will allow our teachers to collaborate using the 4 PLC questions, which are listed here. What do we want our students to know and to be able to do? How will we know that they learned it? How will we respond when some students do not learn? And how will we extend the learning for students who are already proficient? So as you all know, students are in different places, and we need to be able to address students where they are to make sure the learning is personalized. So we need to have a plan for students based on where they are as it relates to the objectives that are being covered in class every day. The primary purpose for our professional learning communities is to allow teachers to have more input in this process and to plan the assessment and assess the progress of students more regularly. And once we get to that point, we can respond instructionally. So every time we assess students, we should have an instructional response to where they are. And so this is the purpose behind us using a professional learning community. The next thing we're working on is our common formative assessment. And so in order for teachers to come together and collaborate, we have to have common assessments, which means that we have to have a shared assessment, which lets us know what students are doing in all classrooms in all kinds of areas. And so these common formative assessments are given quarterly, and teachers come together and talk about that data and determine what needs to be changed or what needs to be addressed as it relates to student learning. Last but not least, this school year we're taking a closer look at the types of assessments we're getting this year. So you all know that we do IAR, that's the state mandate every year. You also know that we do NWA or assess kids 3 times per year using the NWA math assessment. So that's our growth assessment. And then we're going to use the common formative assessment. They fall into 3 different categories, but we need to be sure we're using the data to drive instruction in the classroom. So data from test scores that, if you don't use it, they don't benefit our students. And so we're trying to be very intentional about using this data to drive the instruction. So last week we completed the first test for NWEA, I'm sorry, all these letters. Okay. Math testing. We just completed our first segment of testing, and I think we assessed maybe 92% of our students, which is pretty good. That's most of them. So we'll know where they are. We have baseline data for where they are, and so we need to use that data to improve our instructional practices, right? To be sure we're meeting the needs and it's personalized. So that when we get to spring and we're taking the state test, we are seeing improvement in those scores. And so I don't know if you have any questions, but this concludes my segment on curriculum instruction.
So good evening, everybody. How are you? So my name is Mr. Sparks, and I'm the principal. In case you didn't know.
No, we didn't recognize.
Here we go.
Here, right.
Yeah. So, my stream, at Rickover this year is to focus on PBIS and discipline. So PBIS, stands for Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. One of the things that we, wanted to establish, this year, to make Rickover more of a destination school is to focus on behavioral best practices. Those include making sure that staff we've identified for staff where classroom managed versus office managed behaviors. We also wanted to continue to implement restorative practices, which I believe we started off with last year with the implementation of the well in the building. And so we are also continuing that this year. SEL, as Ms. Caldwell alluded to on previous slides, so we do have the academic component that occurs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, then we focus on SEL components. So SEL is Mental and Social Emotional Learning. And that's every Tuesday and Thursday during that intervention block. Some of the consequences that staff, we've explained with staff are those that are to be classroom issues, again, following that trend, that T-chart of classroom managed versus office managed behaviors. And so students and staff are able to interact and using what we call the rule of three. And that is three redirections from staff members when they see that students are in need of such. And those can include such things as a private conversation, those can include such things as a simple redirect or hand turn signal, and even up to a parent phone call. After that fourth, by that time that fourth redirect comes around, staff has been informed that an office referral will be generated based off of that. School-wide expectations, so we did begin the school year with an assembly to each grade level, teaching and reteaching what those expectations are for the school year and in certain areas of the building. We are going to be utilizing a behavior matrix that will detail what those specific behaviors are required in those such places as the bathroom, the hallways, lunchroom. Those are areas where students have access to see that behavior matrix. And again, it's just a visual to help students understand what those expectations, behavior expectations are. And then consistent acknowledgement, because we all know that we don't just all respond to just constant punitive. So we are going to be implementing our rate of arts, bringing that program back as a way to ensure that students are, feeling that they are being acknowledged for the good work that they are doing. As well as we want to also acknowledge staff in that piece as well. The next slide. So our Positive Support Center, the goal of our Positive Support Center, it is to provide additional support to students and enable them to return to the least restrictive academic environment to restore their practice and educational support. The mouthful is, to simplify that mouthful is simply to say, we want to maximize the time that our students spend in front of their teachers. That's the bottom line. So administration is the ones who are to assign a PSC. PSC, again, students assigned that there are two SEL lessons that are conducted per day, once in the AM and also in the PM. Lessons are based on behavioral goals and trained in the building. So if the students referred to the program for a specific reason, then the lesson will be tailored to the reason that they are there in the first place. And then PSC also provides an opportunity for students to receive academic support, as you see there in the background, the students with their past time. And then PSC also allows students to engage with work study projects. Are there any questions for me? Yes.
How, you showed some strategies on the two slides or three slides up, when you were talking about like the behaviors and the behavior technology and stuff. Do we have anything in place for those? And I see how you give people reminders, but do we have anything in place for those who are not accepting the constant reminders, such as bullying? What about bullying? And some children feel like they still are being bullied even after you addressed it.
Sure.
Sure.
So with the PSC, well, first off, we do have bullying reporting form that students have access to as well as the students have access to. As well as that, in our partnership with Be Well, Be Well has been they've been very supportive of what we've been doing and making this a destination school. So they are often able to step in and kind of help to mediate some of those situations. I know between myself and Dr. Kimbrough, we are constantly in the trenches with the kids and working with them to get the problems resolved if they experience those issues. I mean, a good chunk of my day is just spent with working out issues between kids. And so, the mediation piece is a very strong piece for us right now.
This is the clarification for the, Be Well. What Mr. Scarry just spoke to is, it's a clinician, it's a whole program that we brought in through grant funds to support having additional clinicians and support in the building. So, if this was, because I don't know if the board do with these and Be Well, so that's one of the grant funded programs that we brought into the district.
That was the question I had, wanted to know if you will incorporate your presentation. But you answered it when you answered, Dr. Davenport.
Thank you.
Okay, so, opening up the school year, this is actually going into week 7. We wanted to be very intentional about the culture and climate, and so we implemented a 7-week staff challenge. The students were not privy to the information, it was the things for the staff to do to build relationship and rapport. So this is the last week, and it is the marker board challenge. So they're supposed to write something kind on the marker board and set out in the hallway and just hold it up and hopefully students respond to it. So.
Can I, and do you mind just going back to like week 5, the planes and thumbs up? Just because I just thought like some of them were kind of cool that the kids didn't know what was happening.
So for week 5, so it's points and thumbs up. So you go in the building, it's supposed to like point at the student, and then the students are like, what? And you just now.
Right, you had the nice outfit week, yeah.
Yeah, so it was different, yeah. So, this is something we'll do every school year, is make sure we have something. And it was also a good way for, the teachers to just start informally getting to know students, because to participate, it didn't have to be your student. If you were in the hallway, you could point at each student, so.
Right. Joke of the day.
Yeah.
Let's go back to joke of the day.
So in a newsletter I put out for staff each week, I remind them of the challenge of the week. And so last week it was a joke of the day, and so I gave them, I think, 146 dad jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They look really bad.
yeah, they were bad. So teachers were supposed to just tell a joke, and they said the cornier the joke, the better, so.
Like the joke, what is the one, how come that baseball, or I saw the baseball getting bigger until it hit me, or something. I can't remember why the baseball kept getting bigger and then it hit me. It was like really bad joke.
They were really bad. They were the worse the joke, the better. So this, we'll get feedback from the staff just to see if there was a participation rate, and just get some feedback so we can see how to make it even better next school year.
I'm sorry, I'm not into it. So what was the eye contact?
It was like super cool.
So under each one, it was like a really defined explanation of each, so I didn't want to take up too much space, so I just gave the overall topic. The eye contact is you just make eye contact with a person, and then when they look at you, just smile.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
And then a compliment, you just had to say something like, oh, that's a really cute shirt.
It was kicks though, this one.
It was compliment, yes,
It was on your shoes.
the outfit was week 3. Yeah.
Right, just like when it was your shoes.
Each week, yeah, something. Yeah.
So staff knew when they were doing it, but the students didn't know.
So why did you do it just the first thing?
It's
It's a 7-week challenge. That's, so the guy in the the photo, this is his photo. So, yes. Yeah. So that's what he assigned 7 weeks. So we just went with his challenge. He has a really good book. He said as an educator, somebody will always give you something and you write it down like another idea. So he actually has a book and it's called Ideas. And this is one of his ideas. Okay, so the climate at Rickover. So coming into the district, I wanted to make sure that I build rapport with the staff because I need the staff to have that rapport with the staff so that the staff can transfer that to the students. So the very first thing we did was like 60 White Sox tickets donated and 60 of us went to the White Sox game. So each staff member could invite up to 2 guests for all the tickets were out. So that was the very first thing that we did. For our sixth graders, on their first day at Rickover, Ms. Powell designed a really nice schedule, and at the end of the day, they had free time. So that was how we wanted them to feel comfortable. Some little reminders, I guess, to let us know that the staff do see a change in the culture and climate. Is on Friday we came in and they bought us all in the bottom left, I think they're called bun cakes. Bun cakes. Yeah, go for it. So they bought us bun cakes and then they brought us a little note just saying thank you for being here. So that came from Ms. Phillips and Ms. Powell. So I thought that was a really nice gesture. They gave it to me, Ms. Caldwell, Ms. Quick, Mr. Fires. Yeah. So that was really nice. Last Monday, we launched our bullying campaign. So we are not oblivious to bullying. I don't think that should be to bring over, that's just an age group. But one of the things that I wanted to do was first help them understand what bullying is. It's a word that is used so loosely, and it's not always the case. So we started a bullying campaign last Monday. You see the young ladies in the upper right. So Be Well, who again has absolutely been phenomenal. They came up with a pledge, and the students have to sign off on the pledge. So that's what you see the babies holding up. It's the pledge they took. And then, to give you a backstory, those 2 young ladies have been having a really hard time with each other. But now they're friends. So that is the support from Be Well. Be Well mediated, and you see them holding this picture up together. So that's an indicator that it's not. So, we also have some positive affirmations in our positive support center. But let me go back to the bullying campaign. So the bullying campaign will actually run through October. So October is actually Bullying Awareness Month, but I wanted to get a jump start on it, and so we started it last week. But again, it will run through October 31st. There we're going to have grade level assemblies. Be Well has been pushing in to do an assessment of the needs to understand what when we say bullying, what does that look like coming from our students? So they have been going in, collecting that data. When you all want to join us on, I want to say it is next Friday is Unity Day. And so we're all committed to wearing orange. Unity Day is actually October 10th, so we will be out of school for Columbus Day. So we're going to observe it on Friday. And that is a national norm. So we're going to celebrate Unity Day on that day. Oh, and back to the climate, we go back. So for Labor Day, we had a staff cookout. So everybody brought stuff, and we went up to in the courtyard, and we had music playing, and it was a really, really, really great turnout. And I heard from so many people like how they really enjoyed it. It was a really nice gesture, and we invited everyone. So staff members brought things, but even if we didn't bring anything, we were still able to participate. So that is just kind of giving you guys an idea of the culture and climate of Rickover. And these are actual quotes from my 8th grade. So Ms. Phillips did an activity with her students, and this is some of the things they said. One student stated the school is more controlled. Student number 2 said we can actually focus instead of looking at chaos and actually learn. Third student said there is no room in the hallways, and now there are not any distraction with kids looking into the class. And then the last student said all of us should improve our grades. All of this should improve our grades. So those are from the mouth of babes. Okay, and I'll understand one thing I've learned quick about being Rickover is that they are the heart of the community. Okay, and I don't take that for granted. All that we do, we know that it's going to have an impact on the community. In terms of being a destination, so our goal is again to be a place where students want to be, and a place where parents want to send their kids, and a place where teachers and staff actually want to work. And so this is our goal, and that is how we want to get there, based on the things that we should look at. Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? Oh.
I like your shoes. I like your shoes. Any, so before we go to the next, agenda item, I would be remiss if I did not, because I've heard enough be well tonight, and I know that our, as I just mentioned to the board, I would be remiss if I did not say and acknowledge, Dr. Johnson brought Be Well to the district. Yes, and he brought them in, did a whole presentation in here, and they were everything. Me and Charlotte were like, but we were able to get great money to support it. And so as we've been working with them, once that grant money is done, we're really in a space trying to figure out how do we sustain this kind of support. So I would be remiss if I didn't think about the way to Rickover. And thank you, our new team from Rickover, your first time. Oh, I'm not calling you just a second.
I was just gonna say, Be Well has really been awesome. The kids come to the office and ask for those things.
So that's, yeah, so we will, so.
And I could just say that students have to, students are interested in the school. They love that they get to see their face. They say, you never see my husband, you barely finish, he's always in the office. And they love the fact that they can see you every day. So, I'm pretty good at that.
We had Saturday school for the first time this upcoming Saturday, and I had the students write me a letter. Okay, so this was not supposed to be for fun, but a kid actually said that I really enjoyed coming to Saturday school because I trust you more. And so I'm glad that it's consistent with what you're hearing. Definitely, 168 experience.
Okay, so we are starting our 168 Excel award, and as you all know, we do an award per campus each month, and in May is like we actually started last year with the overall winner for the district. So this month, the person, of course, is from Rickover, and I was actually quite pleased when I saw this, because this month's award winner has been a member of our district family for 9 years. And she currently is the dynamic secretary of Rickover Junior High School, which is a new role. So it's that, one of the things that, and I'm off script, but I'm going to stay on script for a second. But one of the things that I think is really remarkable is when we have someone in the district who puts their name in the hat to do something else. And so, and not only to do something else, but to do it well. So the staff at Rickover has shared that she's friendly, attentive, and welcoming whenever they visit the main office, which is crucial because, as everyone knows, it is the main office that sets the tone for anyone who walks into our district. So, and the parents have also shared that same sentiment. Dr. Kimbrough stated that this young lady is her lifeline, which means a lot, that she can always depend on her to go over and beyond the call of duty. So this year, we start our 22-23 year. This is our first D168 Excels Award of this school year, and it is going to be in recognition for excellence in service and outstanding contributions in the field of education for Community Consolidated School District 168 to Ms. Tanya Quick. Thank you so much. Yeah, we want to thank you. Patricia, come on up and take the photograph. We don't do some pictures here. We don't have to look at it. And then, hold on a second, right? Don't move, don't move. Come on, Mrs. Fire. Oh, there's Ms. Caldwell. That's your lifeline, you gotta get in there, right? Thank you.
Few conference, canceled, moving on.
It was postponed. Not December 8th.
Y'all ain't going.
Because of the hurricane.
Yeah. Dr. Lee is going to reschedule us,
Tomorrow.
airfare and hotel for December 8th.
And we may have to just cancel the airfare and rebook later, because right now they don't have all of their flights schedule open for example. But the registration in the hotel has changed. No, you want the airfare, yeah, yes, but the conference has already been paid for. And the hotel is moved, so all that moved over. The question mark really is just the air, how do we deal with it? But I guess at the end of the day, they thought it wasn't a good idea to really going through a hurricane. I was ready, I had my poncho.
Board retreat. So, Mr. Thomas is not available November 18th. And he indicated that he could do November 10th or 11th. And so I am back. Asking you all. If, okay. No, I got you, and I got Mr. Garrett and Serena. You want to say nothing? Ms. Brandy said she had to look.
So it's the evening of the 11th and the morning of the 12th.
It was 11, 12, I thought it was 10, 11.
I thought it was
It is, hold on, okay. It's Friday. So Friday, Saturday, so it's the evening of the 11th, the morning of the 12th.
Okay. So Ms. Brandy. Everybody else is good. So that's, no, I talked to him already. He surprised me and he responded when the message went out, so.
So he's
Those are the days he's available, so whichever one you can come up with, that is where we will.
Or you could do both.
Or we can do both, we can split it, or we can do one, whatever you guys see fit, but those are the days that he has available. So Friday night, Saturday night. We'll be back here.
It doesn't have to be, if the board,
says we could do 11, 12, and you want to do evening of the 11th, morning of the 12th, then we could figure out where it would be, but we just need to nail the time down.
It would be the evening,
6, 9,
11,
9, 12, or 9, 12.
some will be morning hours. Or it could be just that morning, or it could be just that evening.
We just need some direction so we know what to
Just find
do.
out tomorrow. Okay, well, with that being said, is anybody interested in triple I? Okay, no. Just kidding.
Madam President, can I make a recommendation that you save that
I'll wait that
conversation
down.
down to 9.02 after the board has a chance to vote on the dues?
Oh, yeah.
Because the dues are not until 8.07. So just to make sure that you actually approve the dues before that.
All right. All right, report.
Oh, business.
You just heard a presentation
I
from our.
know, right.
And as I indicated too, we're aware of that we're within the budget that has a sizable deficit, but we're also cognizant of revenues that aren't on the table yet, that we are anticipating if we don't receive those, which we'll know. The preschool grant is due, well, it is due October 12th, we submitted it last week. So we're trying to be at the front of the line, and so that will help us in terms of, even if we, like I said, even if we get 3 million of it, that will help offset any of that deficit.
Can I get a motion for 701?
I move that we make a recommendation to adopt the fiscal year 2022 through 2023 final district budget as presented.
Okay. A motion and a second. That's Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Garrett, yes. Davenport, yes. Brown,
Yes.
Fairlawn,
Yes.
Jackson, Williams, Jones.
Yes.
Motion carries. Dr. Lee, for Jackson, Williams.
Oh, so these are just legislative updates, so there's no new policies, it was just updates based on what legislative session.
I make a motion to approve the place upon the table for the first reading of the policy as presented. I have a motion and a second. Any questions? Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Davenport, yes. Brown, yes. Fairlawn, yes. Jackson, Williams, Garrett, yes. Jones.
Yes, motion carries. All right. Dr. Lee, what's your name?
So we have been in conversation for some years. But I don't know quite how many, but some years. But we actually wrote into one of our grants to actually purchase a special education bus because we are cognizant of the fact that we have children who need wheelchair lift, and so our current bus does not provide that. And as we try to work with the bus company, we're not always able to get the needed services. So we have to contract with different outside vendors. So this particular year, we wrote into one of our grants to actually purchase a bus that would be outfitted for our children with the greatest needs. And so it's a grant funded bus, and we'll be able to then service our young people. But we have to actually go out to bid for it because of the cost of the bus. And you want it, well, and our CCO might want to add to it too.
Yes, adding two. Yes. Okay, add two. Okay. In the years prior,
and Dr. Johnson probably can speak to this better than I. In the years prior, whenever our students were, we call it outplaced, at different, cooperatives, like City or Echo and other places, we did not provide the special ed transportation when students were outplaced. And starting this year, Speed no longer has bus service for special ed students. Echo has no longer, transportation for special ed students. I'm sorry, there's yeah, I'm not aware of the reason why, but and so now we are faced with, having to provide special ed transportation for students who are out of district. So in order to do that, because we always did a bid for the bus, and go have their own, other places have their own buses for special ed transportation. Now it creates a scenario where the district has to provide special ed transportation even for students who are out of district. So in addition to what Dr. Lee was saying, we have a special ed bus that will mainly be used for students that are within our district. Now we also have to provide transportation for students who are placed outside the district. So in the past, we've had some special cases of needing transportation, but because that has become greater, our attorneys have advised that we can no longer do some short-term contracts. The cost will more than likely exceed over $25,000. So therefore, we need to do a formal bid to have the transportation for students outside the district.
Okay, motion. I make a motion to approve, to go out to bid for a special ed bus as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any questions?
Special ed bus.
So it's bus transportation.
So we have to hire, a driver.
No, so this would just be for us to,
So like we have pickers, we would have a special ed.
there'd be
Oh, it's not
transportation.
our bus.
No, the board already approved for us to go get a bus. Yes, that was, so this is just an additional piece, which is what we need right now as a stopgap. So this is because there are vendors who will provide our transportation.
That's what it was. So we have to do it.
Madam Secretary, call the roll. Brown? Yes. Joe? Yes. Justin Williams?
Yes.
Davenport?
Yes.
Jerry, yes. Jones? Yes, motion carries. Brown? That's it?
This is our posting that we are required to do by the Illinois School Code every year. We have to post, it has to be done by October 1st. So we have to post our administrative certified, non-certified salary information on our website.
I make a motion to approve to go, to post, salaries, certified, non-certified, and administrative as presented. Motion is second. Any questions? Secretary, call the roll. Brown? Johnson? Jackson, yes. Jerry, yes. Davenport? Jones? Yes. Motion carries. Next is the IASB dues. And so, as you all know, we've had some issues and we have groups out there planning to, create a new organization. And so we were withholding our dues, waiting for progress. But as it stands right now, there's no real updates out there. And so it is to our best interest to pay our dues for now. This does not negate us, looking into other adventures, but for now, we need to pay our dues.
So we said, we did already, we started on, July 31st, and we still have to get full step on it.
Yeah, we're paying a full set price because we were still covered and still utilizing services and still doing, we they're not paying our rent.
They told us that if you don't pay by October first, you're gonna get cut off. There's no late fee, no.
It's just, alright, so, with that being said, I make a motion to pay IASC. Second. Motion is second, any questions? None, Madam Secretary, call it off. Joe Jones? Yes. Jason Williams? Yes. Garrett? Yes. Danforth? Yes. Brown? Yes. Committee? Finance. Yes,
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Lee said you need to do that vote first before we go back and ask if anybody wants to go, so they.
We'll do it down at,
No.
9.02, yeah,
yeah.
it's there.
Okay, finance committee, today at 6:30. We have pending payments from the comptroller, $843,513. We got a fund balance of $14,754,300 left and 11 cents. And of course, the only recommendation is to pay the bills. That concludes my report.
Any questions? INSD, so we can officially pay the bill. And it is up to you if you are interested in participating. Water Triple what's the date? Yeah, is it the 18th?
The 18th through the, hold on, let me double check that.
And so I know for sure at least one of us
18th through 20th.
definitely needs to go. Because we, no, it's actually you, because we need our delegate. We do need our delegate. If we're gonna stay a part of the organization, it is, essential that our voice be heard. And so when those resolutions come out, our vote needs to be counted. And so, Vice President Brown, Ms. Delegate, anybody else interested in going? Garrett? John? And so I am not certain about Mr. Garrett, but it looks like the six ladies are gonna go. Oh, well, and so you guys should know this. We probably won't be at the height.
So
So,
we'll work on it. Because we do need to get you registered, which we will work on tomorrow. More than likely, we'll have a regency will probably sold out. So, but we will do our due diligence. So, because remember, you've got the Swiss Hotel, the Fairmont, that are all connected. So we'll work on.
y'all just have to walk that green mile.
Matter of fact, there are two things under there too. One is now that the board has approved your dues, the South Coast Division Dinner is on October 5th. So we will need to know who wants to go to the South Coast Division Dinner so that we can register you for that. It's on October 5th.
Usually on Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, October 5th at the Doubletree in Tulsa. And there's a mental health and education inspiration speaker.
Oh, yeah. I'm going.
Well, mental health, yeah.
You can put it down. Anybody else?
Is
Brown?
anyone not going? You're not going? Okay, so.
Well, I'm gonna be in her suitcase.
Okay, so we'll check with Mr. Bear tomorrow. The other thing also that,
I just wanted to make the board aware of. So I did go to the CASA Equity Conference. It was actually really good. The speakers were excellent. The sessions, so the keynotes were amazing. I've got some notes and some URLs to follow. Even the small group sessions were really good. It reminded me of a youth conference. So, I mean, it had the same flavor. However, a couple of things for the board to note. One, now that you paid your dues, IASB, you are formally a member of CASA. They have a national conference coming up also that is March 30th to April 1st. However, we also have maintained our network connection through NSBA, which is so we belong to different groups within NSBA. So the network connection was one that we belong to, which was for technology, those kinds of things. That network connection actually allows you, just found out, I email this week, to go to NSBA if you chose to go there as opposed to CASA. NSBA is April 1st to April 3rd. So I don't know if you want to talk about this a little bit.
One is in Tampa, the other is in Orlando. So CASA is Tampa,
CASA is Tampa,
NSBA is Orlando.
Orlando.
And so I would say we have a couple options. We could split and have to CASA, have to NSBA. I'm definitely do both. We still have to stay within our budget. Or we could all go CASA, since it's something new, so that we could see for ourselves, what they're offering and make a judgment call based off that, as opposed to just like writing them off and not participating. If we're gonna pay our dues, then we need to experience some of what they're offering.
Yeah,
But it's coming up really soon, and Dr. Reed really wants to know.
well, so NSBA, the registration opens on Wednesday, October 5th. So because you all know, we have to register you in order to put you in a hotel. So that's always the big issue. That one is in Orlando, and it's March 30th to April 1st. And that's the one that the board has already attended. But I honestly don't know what it looks like now. I also have to share with you all that I did receive word this morning that Tom Burton, the executive director of CASA, stepped down today. I just heard this morning, and the government relations person who was working with him also stepped in. So he was the person from Illinois who was the head of the new organization. So just in full transparency, if I can get any information, I'm just sharing it out. But so CASA schedule, I don't have an opening date for registration for them, but I do have next Wednesday the schedule opening for NSBA.
NSBA, April 1st to the 3rd.
NSBA is April 1st to April 3rd.
And election is April.
It's always like that, y'all come to the
Yeah, whenever that Tuesday is, the election day.
So you got about 36 hours to think it over. And let Dr. Lee know by Wednesday, if you want to do.
A week, so by next Wednesday, well, actually, by next Tuesday, because what happens is it goes live at like 8 a.m. And so we would want to, if anyone wants to go to that, we need to get on right away, register, because you have to register to get the link for a hotel. And Orlando is huge, and so if you are not a hotel, then you're traveling, for one show, all that, yeah. So thank you, Madam Chair. So CASA is March 30th to April 1st. NSCA is April 1st to April 3rd.
I think that's definitely delivering. Same state.
And the South Cook Division dinner is,
Maybe they will give us some information that will help us kind of like decide.
I mean, you can always register on the 6th. I just know how those conferences go, if you, because I'm imagining they're probably going to use that convention center in Orlando, which is huge, and that Rosen Center is literally next door to it. So I would guess that probably will be one of the main hotels, and then the other hotels, you can walk that breezeway, but it's like a mile, it feels like a mile. But so just some things to think about.
Yeah, the speed and support, policy. Okay, Southwest Community Partnership. There's one, we had, September 23rd, we went over all the dates that we were going to do for the year, between the, buildings and the schools. The community partnership, that's on the table of the community fest in November. And Habitat for Humanity, will have a village cleanup on November 5th, just some of the things. And October 14th will be a reopening celebration for South Florida, County Public Library, and that will be from 1 to 4 p.m. No, well, they remodel, so they have maybe empty celebration. They're gonna have after prizes and things like that kind of stuff. October 14th is going to be library after 14th. Okay, we find now have reopened that is our food pantry partnership from Chicago Heights. They reopen and that will be on Tuesday from 11 to 2 p.m. and that will be at the community center. And October 29th will be the library trick or treat and that will be from 11 to 3 p.m.
I was asking that on behalf of our vice president. So there was a scope meeting today. And today was an in-person meeting, and then the rest of the meeting in May will be virtual. One of the big things that they're planning is on February 27th is a virtual meeting with scope legislators to identify some of the needs in the South Coast area and have our legislators get on the docket for member initiative funding for our district. So, and I mentioned earlier that Senator Sims has actually been set aside for our district for capital projects. So that's one of the things that getting on the agenda with the legislators so that we can tell them things that we need in our district so that they can actually be set aside within the General Assembly's budget. So that's a huge thing. And I'll give you, for example, Peoria Representative Jahan Gordon Booth just got a multi-million-dollar set aside for her district to do a whole new fine arts program. So that's the kind of thing that our legislators can actually do. But part of Spoke's role is to help us lobby to make that happen. So right now we were able to get some money from the senator, and we'll continue to work on that. And then there's just a series of, and I will actually, I wrote on this, but I will get a clean copy and put this in your update so that you can see just the different, the gubernatorial acts that impact the district. ISB has a new chair for Dr. Isolia, who is a retired superintendent, and he just started as the new chair last week, so that's very exciting for us. Some of the other things going on with just the ISB with the state board. The assessment component, really looking at what's happening with the reports connected to our improving assessment reporting, shortening the end of our year test, some kind of an adaptive design, and there's a lot of conversation at state level too about our DLM and the loss of instructional time, which I know you appreciate that because there's some pushback in regards to that instructional time. There's also a TIP reform group that's really looking at, Senator Gillespie has a TIP legislation that it sort of died because of the Illinois Municipal League, but they're trying to move that to help with some reforms for TIP. Some of the ongoing, there's a Right to Read Act that is coming up that has been really at the center of a lot of conversation. There's a new component called CD Plus, which is being housed by the state for us to access. And then, so there's just a lot of ongoing work that I will make sure this gets shared out with the board. And then there's a whole section that they talked about today on advocacy. So how to scope, because you pay your dues to scope, how do they advocate for that entire Southwood region? Because there's a lot of bills, I mean, every year it's thousands of bills, and they whittle it down to the bills that impact us directly, and how can they advocate either for or against. One of the things that I send this out, sometimes when we're in the middle of session for board members, is those witness lists. So when I send an email and it says, if you can, we're opposed to this bill, if you can fill this out, the reason is because when they get to the committee, they'll have someone who will read it and they'll say, we have 15,000 people who are opposed to this bill. So it tells the committee, oh, this is the going to move forward. Or we have 15,000 people who submit a witness list in support of it. So that's part of the charge that SCOPE is charged with for school districts is when do they help us know what the position should be, and that's based on the information that we get out. So if I send something out, I'm like, hey, or if it's in the update, because you know during the legislative session I have all that stuff about legislation, it's because all those bills impact our school districts in some way, shape, or form. And so the next meeting for SCOPE is a virtual meeting, and it is on October 24th. So I will send this out though, but it was a good kickoff meeting for the school year.
On that report, just a reminder, when we are, to beware of any district business, when we have more than three people or more at the same time, it's just a general reminder. And I know I had announced the concert, wishing that the staging did, the staging failed through the Dallas High School, which is a kicker right here. They kind of made it have to be postponed to the second week of June. In addition to, I know some people have found out about an event proposal that was presented at the village a week or so ago. Director of Operations came to me about just wanting to do something. We were just chatting, and he came up with this idea about why can't we merge our entities, like do events instead of everybody having a separate event on the same day at the same time, and that he wanted to know if they could merge, he's gonna try to see, and then maybe use the money from the concert to do a fireworks show. That night, I'm like, well, people have nothing to do from 4 until time fireworks. So, he asked me to write a proposal, which I did. It was just a proposal, wasn't nothing in stone. I did ask PTO, they, said yes. I asked Dr. Lisa for the village, for the district, and she said she would try to see if she could get Dr. McDonald, talk to Kelly Services to come out, that day for us on the 29th. So what nobody knows, you guys are the first one, because I haven't had a chance to tell them over there yet. But we are a go, so it is something that is going to go forward. We're going to do the flyer. We're going to do the village wants to stay over here. They don't want to go over there. We're going to do trunk or treat here from 1 to 4, and from 4 to 8, 4 to 7 before the fireworks. I was able to secure today some horses. You have to ride a horse. It's just to come out and ride a horse and pay you. We also have a DJ Goose is coming, and then we have a comedian. So we'll be having a comedian, Chicken Wing, that's going to be a part of the show. So that'll take up 3 hours in the costume contest for adults. So if you all are going to wear costumes, coming down the channel by Thursday to have the flyer ready once they have me with all the information. And it will all be done. So you all are welcome. Thank you.
Happy birthday. Anybody celebrating a birthday in the month of September? We don't have nobody on birthday, but if there's anybody in the audience that is celebrating a birthday in September, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday.
So, as required by law, we did our employees this last meeting. We received none. Our scoreboards, so the, at last month's meeting, the board did, inquire about the scoreboards, and so it's been an update, so Ms. Williams and Mr. Harris have been working with, Dr. Kimbrough on getting new, because the current scoreboard was too old to repair, so we have to get a new scoreboard, and in the process, they ordered a second scoreboard. So once they come in, then we'll get them all installed and ready to roll. The projection.
The projected date for delivery is mid-November.
Hey, it's better than March.
So it's mid-November.
Yeah. So that's on target. The other thing that it's not on here, but I'm just gonna include it as a recovery piece. There was an update with Stuff Washing Machine and Dryer. So, so I know that they've identified space for it. We have a quote to get it put in, so we're working on getting the washer and dryer at Rickover as well. So I don't really have a projected date for that.
No, there's no projected
Not yet. Okay, we still have a little bit more legwork to do on that, but it is in progress. Our pre-K construction grant, as I said earlier, we applied for $6 million, a little over $6 million. It's due October 12th. We submitted it on a week ago today, September 19th. So we submitted it a week ago today. We're a shovel-ready project, which means that we already have all the steps are done. So if they give us the money, we're ready to roll. So, so what we're hoping is that even if we don't get all $6 million, that we get a sizable amount. And I will just add to that. I know that there are other districts that have shovel-ready projects. I just throw that out. We're like super special, which we are. But I just heard there are other districts with shovel-ready. However, I think that we have a really good chance in terms of our regional capacity because we can service Stanger, Crete, Lansing, Linwood, so we have the capacity to service a large region that's currently in need of service. So, and I want to thank Dr. Johnson for working diligently with Ms. Walton. Ms. Walton was she watching? Ms. Walton was a beast when it came to this. She was like, we need this furniture, we need this, that's not the right table. No, so we met with architects, with designers, the interior designers, just to talk about what the needs were. So I really feel confident in what we submitted to the state that it is definitely fundable. The question is just, and so this first round of funding is $50 million. So we're asking for 6 of the 50, and there are 852 districts. So, but I believe very strongly that we've got shovel ready, because part of this is they have to get this money out of their hands quickly, because it's part of that whole grant coming from the federal government. So they can't sit on it. So they really do need districts that are ready to move on it. So we'll let you know again. Really, we should probably know by the next board meeting, because October 12th was the due date, and they're supposed to let us know in October. So if you all come in and see me doing a happy dance, right, we're like fingers crossed, toes, everything, but to just keep us in thought. And then the last thing I really wanted to make the board aware of is our report card timing and update. So we have sat through a couple of webinars so far connected to the new report card. And there are some changes, there's some differences this year. So the last 2 years, there's been really no updates in terms of report cards, we didn't have data. This year, they're doing a couple of things. One is our science assessment, for example, we're only being assessed on participation. So there's no proficiency, it's just participation. Did children take the assessment? The other ones that we're looking at is, of course, our chronic absenteeism, our proficiency at the different grade levels, and then student growth. So we've got the preliminary data, but we don't have the numbers that say this is what your designation is. So we should have October 1st is when they're saying we'll be able to do a review. So at the October board meeting, we will share with the board what our final data looks like prior to becoming public. So it will come to the board. So as soon as we can access it, which should be sometime next week, it will be an update so that you know. And then we'll have a whole presentation at our October board meeting for you as well.
Even though they're only checking the science to say it's taken or not taken, will we know how they scored anyway? So
Yeah.
we will be able to.
We'll have the data, but it won't go into the designation. And we have another series of workshops, I think on Monday and Tuesday is the next set, where because they're going through trying to explain to everybody how they're doing the summative designation for FY23. So it looks different. So the last time that we actually had a designation that was connected to all of the pieces that were supposed to be in there was in 2019. So 2020 we didn't have it, 2021 we didn't have it, and 2022 is an adapted version of it. So we really won't have another full-on summative until 2023. Which is why I think Dr. Kimbrough, Ms. Caldwell, they were talking about the efforts connected to IAR, because this 2023 assessment really is almost like this is our next time that we're sort of restarting this entire process. That answers my report.
Any questions for Superintendent? No. Public comment?
I have one.
Please stand and state your name for the record. You will be afforded 3 minutes. If we have a response, one will be provided. If not, we will take your information and get back to you.
Only 3 minutes, it's not a question really.
Give us your name.
Judith Merritt, I'm just here to return a computer I have and some keys that belong to the district, that's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else with, comments, questions for the board? No? Okay. Moving on. What do we have for questions? Everything? No.
Y'all have minutes?
Yeah, we have next year.
Good minutes. We're done. We don't have any negotiations. At least not at this moment. It's coming up.
Personnel updates?
No.
No? Okay. All right, I make a motion to go into closed session for the purchase of minutes. So we say.
Oh, that's
You know, things were in my drawer. I mean, I had everything. I was trying to get my stuff flat right. That's what, so when I said, oh, that thing when it was crazy. I had filling up my drive. Yeah, so I didn't know it was gonna do that. I'm like, I could have did this much easier. I didn't know, so I was like, I mean, I'll tell you one thing, I really wanted that completed, but I can recreate everything else.
Oh, we're gonna wear the Johnson suits next week?
Yes.
Up to the dinner?
To the dinner? Okay, then I work to,
906 Colorado, yes.
then we can't wear it right everywhere. They go CCSD, we probably should
Well,
wear
that
it.
means in December.
How many times have y'all worn this?
Right.
I'm sick of it. Who made the motion? Me. Say, you make the motion?
No, I made the motion.
This is Yes. Brian? Yes. Joe?
Yes.
Justin? Yes. Yes. John?
Yes. I make a motion to adjourn. No, I make a motion to approve the closed session minutes. July 25th.
No, because we cut my code, y'all keep on here.
July 25th.
Yes.
I made the motion. Brown, said second. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Brown?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Justin? Yes.
Yes. John? Yes, motion carries. I make a motion to approve the closed session minutes of August 22nd, 2022, as presented. No, Brown is second. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Justin? Yes. Brown?
Yes. Yes, motion carries. I make a motion to adjourn at 9:08 p.m. Second. Motion is second. Any questions? Madam Secretary, call the roll. Well, we'll have to check the weather. Weather permitting, we can do the dresses. If it's below 60, it's a giant.
You go wear this jacket.
Yes. Adjourn.
So can we wear like the cute heels with it, or do we have to?
Oh, yeah.